do people put that kind of money into it? Because consumerism, commercialism is an incredibly powerful force. And what does consumerism and commercialism depend upon? It depends upon this. The present is inferior to the future. And the past is radically inferior to the present. Why do I say that? Because they're selling you stuff. They're selling you stuff 99% of the time you don't need. The washing machine you bought 10, 15 years ago quite probably will do the job adequately for another 10 or 15 years. And yet they're continually trying to sell you a new washing machine, a new computer. Think about fashion, clothing. I've got trousers hanging in my wardrobe that are perfectly adequate. Bought them 15 years ago. I'm a runner, so I can still fit into trousers that I bought 15 years ago. But my wife wouldn't want me seen dead on the streets in those things. Why not? Because the style, the aesthetics, the fashion has changed. There's nothing practical that's changed in those trousers, or pants as you call them here, I think. Pants in Britain means underwear, and I remember the first week I arrived here, there was a lovely southern lady who worked at Westminster, and she'd taken my wife shopping, and she bumped into me on campus, and she said, "Tell your wife those pants I bought fit wonderfully." And I thought, wow, American ladies are really very forward with men they've never met before. But there's nothing functional that changes in the trousers, the pants you wear. But we're all continually buying new ones. Why? Because we live in this culture where you have to have the latest thing. And if you live in a culture where you have to have the latest thing because it's fashionable or it's stylish, when you're living in a culture that operates with those kind of categories, of course you regard the past as being inferior. The past is inferior. You don't want to wear those flared trousers. You want the latest styles. You don't want to wear jackets with wide collars. You want to wear jackets with the latest style of collar. And all of this stuff implicitly sends the message to us that the past is inferior. The past's function is simply, if you like, to remind us that the present is better than the past once was. There is little wisdom to be obtained from the past. And then I think, having outlined very briefly, I could talk at great length on both the scientific and the consumerist aspect of these things. And I might also just briefly connect that to the whole cult of youth. Where's the cult of youth come from? The cult of youth has come from young people having money, having disposable income, and becoming a target audience for selling stuff to. And becoming the target audience for selling stuff to. And they can sell youth stuff to old guys as well, because old guys, slowly but surely in a culture that's turning towards youth, they don't want to be old guys, they want to be young guys. That's why people wear hair pieces and have facelifts. And I was introducing John to an English word last night, the English word naff, and he said, well, what does naff mean? I said, naff is when you're a teenager and your dad turns up at your party, dressed in jeans and a denim jacket, trying to be a teenager. That's naff. The kind of culture that produces that is an anti-historical culture because it doesn't like age, it doesn't like the past, it disrespects these things. And I would want to add to that, there is a strong strand of Protestant thinking that plays directly into this. What is that strong strand of Protestant thinking? I just have my Bible. I just have my Bible. What do I mean by that? Well, you come across people all the time who say, well, you have creeds and confessions and traditions, but I just have my Bible. I'm going to question that in a few minutes' time. I don't think anybody just has their Bible. And I don't think that's what the Reformers meant when they talked about scriptural sufficiently, that people just have their Bible. Remember a couple of years ago I was giving a lecture at a seminary and on John Owen, and I was trying to bring out the fact that John Owen spent a lot of time reading the church fathers, medieval theologians, philosophers, classical culture. He was a very, very educated man, and he saw all of these things as necessary for him being a theologian and a pastor. And after I'd finished this lecture, guy stood up and he opened up his Bible at Timothy and he read this little passage from Timothy and he looked me in the eye and he said, really is that simple, isn't it? And sat down. He just had his Bible, this guy. You know what my response was? I said, well, I'm very interested that you read from an English translation of the Bible. And he had no comeback. He didn't stand up and come back. Because he didn't just have his Bible, he had a whole tradition of Bible translators and translations standing behind him. And if one wanted to be really cruel, one could say he wouldn't have a clue whether that was an accurate translation of Timothy or not. He's depending upon other people who've got the learning to do the job properly. But there is this dimension to Protestantism in a right reaction against those who make tradition almost into an idol, to say, well, we just have Scripture. And that can so easily become we just have the Bible and we can reinvent Christianity every Sunday. You combine that attitude to the Bible with the culture that rubbishes the past and doesn't see any value in the past or in age, and you have what I would describe as a theologically lethal combination for all kinds of craziness. That then is